What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about British pub etiquette. Now, in past videos, I have attempted to study the phenomenon that is the British pub, and like most Americans, I used to just assume that British pubs were very comparable to American bars. They're both places that you hang out, you go there to get alcohol. But the more I've learned about British pubs, the more I've come to realize the truth of the matter, that they're really not comparable at all. There's so much more to British pubs, so much nuance and different things about a gathering place and a community place that I ever realized. So today, I'm very excited to take kind of an even closer look into some of the nuances of what happens and what you should do at a British pub, specifically etiquette, how you should behave yourself at the British pub so people don't chuck bar beer bottles at you or whatever happens when people break the etiquette. That's what I picture in my mind or something. It's like unspoken rules, rules of engagement, how you should just behave so that everyone has a good time and just to be polite, I guess you could say. So I found this very interesting discussion on Reddit where Brits were answering this question. What's your favorite piece of pub etiquette? And the first answer is, for me, it's taking my empty glasses to the bar. Wow! That is that is such a simple yet very substantial kind thing to do. That kind of sums it up right there. Like a bit about British pub culture in general to me, because in bars in America, I mean, you're not really expected to bring your glasses back up to the bar. It's really everyone's under the assumption that the waiter is going to come get it and you'll leave them a tip hopefully and it all works out. But this right here, although it seems so simple, actually speaks a lot to me of it really is sort of a community feeling where you want to bring your glass back up to the bar. Maybe the bartender and you're like, hey, we're on kind of like a friend kind of level almost, and you want to do something nice for them, or maybe it's just considered rude to leave your glasses on your table. Maybe that's all it is. All right, what else do we have here? But that's that right there already is such a big difference. Like that you would almost be expected to bring your glasses up, where that's not even a consideration for a second for Americans at a bar. Letting someone who has been at the bar longer than you get served, even though the staff are directly looking at you. Oh, wow, that's so nice. So you're standing at the bar, and someone else has been there longer, but the staff addresses you instead. They kind of make a mistake and they let you cut in line or cut in the queue, and you kind of say, no, take them over there first. They were there first. That is, again, it's so funny comparing this to bars in America, because I feel like that level of just basic human decency, especially at a bar, wouldn't exist, really. You might, man, I don't mean to throw American bars and American bar culture under the bus totally. You'd get some people who are just genuinely kind, Americans even. They do exist, believe it or not, who might, but this is not something I would expect. Most people wouldn't be paying attention to this. I'm noticing a lot of these British pub etiquettes are just common human decency. It's very nice, and it's very much looking out for a lot of these so far, or the two of them, are based on empathizing and actually paying attention to your fellow patrons and oh, this guy was waiting longer than me. Why don't you serve him first? That's so nice. I also find that it normally works out fine as pointing out someone who was before you almost always guarantees you'll get served next. Oh, you might even get a little rewarded for your act of selfless heroism there. Wow. Also gives you rapport with the bartender, makes it likely they'll notice you. Yeah, it's just good all around. Like there's a lot of reasons. Man, that's such a, I don't know, I guess an American would say that's such a bro move. What a bro. uh, actually, like letting someone else go before you, I'd be like, thanks, bro. I don't, we'd nod to each other. No, we wouldn't even talk. It'd be unspoken. I'd just be like nodding like a thanks, and they'd be like that, and a bald eagle would fly through the background, and an American flag would start waving, and then the eagle would cry. And all right, I'll stop. The crisps getting torn open completely for full buffet service at the table. The crisps, so the chips, crisps. I gotta translate this British talk. The crisps getting torn open completely. So it's good etiquette to like tear open the bag of crisps like really big, so everyone can eat them. Are there a lot of crisps, like bags of crisps, just sitting at the table? I'm not sure I understand here. British tapas. Oh, what does that mean? British tapas? Oh, here we go. British tapas is, let me zoom in a little bit here. An enormous platter of classic British junk food? It's a platter of chips and crackers and crisps and sauce. A platter of British junk food. Is this common at a British pub? Like, this looks fantastic. There's a word for it, tapas. Usually freezer food, arranged with a little flair. What? Sometimes British people do this with tea? British tapas. All right. Sounds cool. So the etiquette is to make sure the tapas or the crisps are available to everyone at the table. Is that what the etiquette is here? That seems reasonable. Order the Guinness first. The etiquette would be to order the Guinness first? Is this commonly known? What's the reason? Something actually comes up when you search this, thank goodness. If you're ordering more than a pint, order the Guinness first to allow the bartender to make the other drinks while the Guinness is settling? Yet, do you have to let the Guinness settle? What's that all about? That way you won't be waiting after you've settled the bill for your drink? 7 stages of ordering a pint of Guinness? What on earth? I didn't know there was so many rules about ordering Guinness. So you order the Guinness first? Is it considered like proper to let your Guinness settle? Does that do something to the taste or the head or the foam or I don't know. I can only speculate here, but order the Guinness first so it can sit around for a bit. Age a little. All right. Interesting. Never heard that one before. Shouting, whoa, or is it woo, woo, whoa, when a glass or plate gets broken? I've heard this before. This is not something that exists in the United States. When a glass breaks on the floor, it either goes dead silent, like strangely quiet, which is funny, or someone like screams out of shock. But this seems like such a funnier way to handle it. Like, I actually really like this idea. Everyone's just like, woohoo! Or like it just turns like an awkward or like negative situation into something that's kind of funny. Especially if everyone in the pub is taking part. It's almost like a bonding experience when a plate hits the floor. I've never seen this or experienced this, but it sounds very fun to me. And the guy in the corner who shouts, "Sack that juggler!" Oh my god. All right, I get. Funny. I see you know my dad. I was just about to say that sounds like a dad joke, literally. My dad says, "Don't wash that one." Oh, that's good. That's funny. That's something that doesn't exist in America. This whole everyone yelling "woo" or whatever it is when a glass breaks. But I like that a lot. Maintaining you can only stop for a couple when you arrive. Then the night inevitably ends up with you 10 pints down carrying a traffic cone home with you. So is this we're straying a little bit from etiquette here, or maybe not. Maybe this is serious. But when you arrive at the British pub, you have to insist, I'm only here for a couple drinks, and then I got to go home. You got to do that whole song and dance, and then inevitably slowly you're 10 pints in and you have a traffic cone to add to your collection at home, I assume. Just finishing this drink, darling. I'll be home for dinner. Then it's 2 a.m. and you're standing at the nightclub with a kebab. This is all etiquette, mind you. This is mandatory. We don't make the rules here. It's the rule. It's mandatory. Got to do it. Especially the traffic cone. Asking for a taste of the new IPA they've got. Not liking it at all, but ordering a pint anyway, so the barman does not feel like you just wasted their time. This is very specific. I feel like this exact situation has happened to someone. This is very, very specific. All right, ordering the bad IPA so that you don't feel like you've offended the bartender. Spend an hour nursing it, taking one horrible sip after the other. Returning the glass to the bar. Okay, good. You returned the glass to the bar. Very good. Etiquette. Then announcing loudly, enough of the heavy stuff for now. I'll have a Heineken. Which you don't even like, but you can tolerate for a couple of rounds to avoid suspicion before returning to Old Reliable, Guinness. Which I assume by then you've let sit around long enough for the adequate amount of time, whatever that amount of time is. We really don't care if you don't like it. Don't suffer for no reason, right? Like, bartenders need to, start telling the patrons, you know what? Like, whisper to them, if you don't like it, it's okay. You don't have to order this. Don't feel bad. Because we got people out here suffering, putting on a whole act for the night, just to not offend the bartender. That's funny. And, oh my gosh, that's funny how very specific that was. Putting your 50 pence on the pool table, like 50 cents on the pool table, is that how much, to rent the pool sticks? Or is that what that is? Surprised it isn't £5 these days for a game of pool with inflation. I was going to say 50 cents, 50 pence. That's really, really cheap. So is it just etiquette do you pay at the table, or... This seems like it could vary from establishment to establishment. Like, I've been to places where you kind of pay for your pool time, your billiards time, when you settle your tab at the end, or when you return the pool balls, or all sorts of stuff. It's always a pleasant surprise to find a 50 pence table. Oh, like a table that's 50 pence. There are still a few. Huh, seen some going north of £1. Huh. And even a couple with card readers. You know what? I'm okay with the card readers. That kind of stuff with the future. You don't want to ruin the romanticism of being at the old pub. But card readers built into pool billiard tables, I'm okay with it, to be honest. Random. The legend, I mean, these have all been extremely random. This has just gotten more and more random British pub etiquette, but I love it. The legend that walks over and shuts the pub door when it's left open, especially this time of year. I swear, you can feel the draft no matter where you sit. If you're by the door, get up, shut it. The rest of the pub will applaud you, or they'll take note. You become a legend. Okay. Shut the pub door, if you can, to stop the cold from coming in. Wow. Interesting. That makes sense, honestly. Walking away calmly, drink in hand, whenever a fight breaks out. How many fights are breaking out in the British pubs to necessitate an entire etiquette around this? But should it happen, you remain calm. This happens. Be like, this happened a million times. Kind of like walking away from an explosion without looking, kind of vibe. Walk away calmly, drink in your hand. Clearing tables. Make sure empty glasses are out of the way for the emerging ruckus. Very good. Is there an etiquette for, like, clearing the tables and pushing them out of the way for fights? Like, there's a whole series of etiquette based around the idea that fights are gonna happen in the pub, basically. How common is that, honestly? Now I'm actually curious. A guy said sorry to the bin for bumping into it in the toilets. Peak British. So, yeah, sorry to the garbage can, we would call it. Sorry to the bin when you bump it in the bathroom. That is very British. Like, Americans in the same situation would bump the bin and then, like, put their hands up, like, what? You want to fight? Or it'd never be like, sorry. That's very polite British right there. You don't buy beer, you rent it. Standard strangers at standard stranger talk at urinals. As the beer is coming out of you, you don't buy it, you rent it. Depending on who said it, with what delivery, most Americans do not want to chat at the urinal, I have to say, in general. But this would be pretty funny, I have to admit. Okay. All right. My son lives in Sweden and works in craft ale. He says you always know the Brits because they bring their glasses back to the bar. Swedes don't. Wow, that's kind of nice. Brits even have like a positive reputation. Like even in Sweden. Like I was gonna say, this is simply not a thing in the United States, and it's not expected. Like there's people who work there whose job is to clear the tables, bring the glasses back to the bar, but yeah, if you did this in the US, I would actually wonder if it would be helpful or if they'd be like, oh, we put those in a different area for cleaning, or I'd be actually worried, strangely enough. But in Britain, sounds like just a real decent, nice thing to do. I really like that, actually. I really like that. Glass collecting is the worst part of the job, so we all know to help out. Oh, huh. Maybe American bartenders would appreciate it, honestly. Huh. Interesting. This is actually getting me to think a little about that. Nodding. Saying hello to people. Nod. Someone opens a door. Nod. Someone buys you a drink. Nod. Saying goodbye to people. Nod. Is it just a nod? You don't even have to say anything. It's just a nod. I like that. That's exact like when you let the person who's been waiting longer than you go ahead at the bar. A little nod. I like it. Saying woo when a bottle of prosciutto is opened, like wine. Man, there's a lot of woo, woohoo. Sounds very fun at a British pub. There's a lot of very fun things like this. Paying for a full round because you are too kind to inconvenience the bar staff to split the round between cards. Saying, oh, I'll have it if no one wants it when food is incorrectly brought to your table. That's etiquette. It's a rule. It's the etiquette. I'll have it if no one wants it. You gotta even sound like you're doing them a favor or something. It's like, no, I want it. Wow. This was immensely enjoyable, funny, and I also feel like I learned a lot of actual valuable stuff about British pub etiquette that I otherwise would be like kind of impossible for me to ever come across because there's no British pubs in the United States, let alone getting a taste of the etiquette. So I really, really enjoyed this look and the answers that the Brits here were supplying. It was so fun and funny, and I don't know, it just made me kind of appreciate and enjoy the idea of British pubs even more. So I liked this quite a bit. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, perhaps with your sort of suggestion for British pub etiquette, perhaps. That'd be nice. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to British culture, stuff in Britain I have never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.